You ever have those moments where you know what you should be doing, but somehow you just end up doing the exact opposite? You tell yourself things like, okay, starting tomorrow, I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna go to the gym, and this is when I'm gonna finally start becoming disciplined. And then tomorrow comes and nothing really happens. Because our brains are naturally wired to crave instant dopamine. And now we live in an environment that surrounds us with exactly that. But here's the good news. Even in a world designed to distract you, you could still build discipline. Learning how to rely on discipline instead of motivation is exactly how I've been building Undeniable. It is exactly how I was able to get my book, Neon Jazz and Skull, The Legend of Printer's Alley, out the door. It's how I find time to create content while working late night bartending shifts in downtown Nashville. All while being a 40-year-old dad with 2 kids, soon to be 4. That's right. Twin girls will be here in less than a month. The future benefits that you're working towards, whether it's getting up early to go to the gym before a shift downtown, or getting up early enough for a slow morning so that you don't feel like you're rushing the kids into the day, often feels so distant to your brain that it's always going to choose comfort almost every time. The more I negotiate with myself, the more I tend to procrastinate, which is an absolute killer to your confidence. You're just always going to feel like, oh, well, I'm lazy, or I don't have the discipline. So what's the solution? You stop talking to yourself. Sometimes you just got to tell yourself to shut the f up in the most loving way possible. But I'm going to be real here. Removing that self-negotiation only works if you know what you're actually working towards. A lot of people say that they want to be more disciplined, but the goal is just really vague. Like, I want to work on my channel. I want to get fit. I want to cook more. Those are great. They're just too non-specific. If you want to build consistency, you need to set specific targets using SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Change, I want to get in better shape, to for 3 days a week, I'm gonna go to the gym for 45 minutes. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as soon as I wake up. Right away, you know how much better and clearer that sounds. You have a plan. You know where you have to be, when, and for exactly how long. But even if your goal is crystal clear, there's still one thing that can sabotage you. Most people feel like they don't know why they're failing. But if you search deep down, and we're completely honest with yourself, you kind of actually do. You see, lying to ourselves is comfortable. It protects the ego. Admitting the real reason why you're not making any progress, that hurts. I know this firsthand because there was a point in my marriage where we were on the absolute verge of divorce. There was a way for me to point the finger and avoid taking responsibility. My ego would try to find it. But I realized that if I wanted to save my family, that I had to drop the excuses. So I took what I call absolute accountability. I treated the entire situation like it was my fault. I owned every shortcoming, every misstep, and every part of the problem. It was incredibly uncomfortable. My ego took a massive hit, but it was the exact shift I needed to push me forward and actually start fixing things. So if you find yourself not making progress on a goal, and you don't want to face the hard truth, ask yourself these questions. This is the goal that I want. Why do I actually want this goal? And how have I failed before? Do not give the polite answer. You have to look yourself in the mirror and be completely honest. Because at the end of the day, if you refuse to acknowledge the role you play in your own results, you're never going to make progress. Also, you need to optimize your surroundings. If your kitchen is loaded with easy, frozen meals to just throw in the microwave, or snacks that are saturated in sugar more than healthy, it's going to be really hard to eat that clean, proper fuel that you should be consuming. So for example, if you're planning on smoking a pork shoulder or a brisket the next day, you prep everything. You prep the meat and the smoker the night before, right? You make doing the thing effortless. Design your environment to set you up for success. Developing discipline will raise your standards, but you are not going to develop that self-respect if you do not show up consistently. So start small. If you're trying to build a habit, do not try to change your entire life overnight. Do what you can actually handle consistently. And finally, ask yourself, what would it look like if it were fun? Discipline has a huge PR problem where everyone thinks you need to be suffering in order to build discipline. That's just not true. I will try to make the really hard things fun. Like if I do not feel like going to the gym, I will bring along one of my kids. One, because, well, they're cool as shit, but two, because they find it so exciting, they ask so many questions, it makes me feel like an expert. It allows me to be the example and reminds me why I'm doing all this hard work in the first place. For them. Doing something hard is rewarding, but you can also make it fun by incentivizing doing the hard thing. So if you are ready to lock in and get disciplined, this is exactly how you do it. So let me know down in the comments some of the ways that you have cultivated discipline in your own life. And let me know how you make it fun so that you keep showing up. Remember, we are tired of being underrated. We are tired of being overlooked. It is time that we all start the journey to become undeniable.